Welcome on in to the Utah Blockcast. I'm Steve Bartle, Utah Insider for KSL Sports. On this one, I try to get a few guests lined up. Unfortunately, some plans fell through, but still able to connect with a couple of Utah football legends, Kenneth Scott and Jason Shelley. You'll hear from both of those guys on this one. Not together, they're two separate interviews. You'll hear from both, which will be fun. Just brief 10, 15-minute conversations. I know, so both of them were really busy this week, and the fact that they were able to get 10, 15 minutes to talk and hop on with me, really appreciate those guys taking that time to catch up on where they're at, what they're doing, and also hear from them on the BYU rivalry. And so I think there will be a couple fun little tidbits from those guys on the rivalry, particularly Jason. He shared a couple fun things, so that'll be fun. Before we get to that, I do want to make sure I mention the Blockheads, man. Shout out to you guys. Shout out to you guys for listening, for the support. Appreciate all you guys. Make sure to go to utahblockcast.com. Make sure to go to kslsports.com. It's been a lot of fun at KSL Sports. It's been a lot of fun. With the Discord community. Appreciate everybody in there. You guys are great. It's always a lot of fun. Before we get to those conversations, just a couple quick things I want to hit on. Men's basketball got a 98-63 win over Central Arkansas last night. This was the program's 1900th win in their history. That's pretty significant. That's a lot of wins. They've been playing ball for a long time. I think 125 years, 115 years, math. Only 15 programs. They became the 15th program in the country to hit 1,900 wins. There's going to be a lot more that get to that mark this season, but pretty impressive to be the 15th program in college basketball to get to 1,900 wins. So, obviously a lot of people contributed to that. That is a massive number of wins, incredible success for the program. And so, big accomplishment for Utah basketball last night to hit 1,900. Congrats to the basketball program. Another milestone, Gabe Matson became the 42nd player in program history to hit the 1,000-point mark. So he joins a pretty good club. 42 players in program history have hit the 1,000-point mark. And with Gabe, it's exciting because obviously we still have the rest of the season. We're only 2 games into the season this year. And so Gabe can really climb the ranks here. And if he's able to produce anywhere close to what he did last year, he finished with 500 points, 503 points, I think, to be exact. That'll put him in some pretty rarefied company in program history. I think Andre Miller's up there. Michael Doliak is up there. Ken Gardner is up there. Somewhere up there. So it's a testament to him. And over these last 3 years, it was interesting going back and looking at the game logs for Gabe. Over these last 3 seasons, you really see the improvement when you do that. When you go through the game logs and you see kind of the stretches, you see the single digit games, the number of those games shrink each year. You see the stretches of more consistent production. And so really excited to see what sort of step and progress Gabe makes this season. Obviously, he's going to be vital to Utah's success and chances at a tournament berth this season. But really, it's really cool that he's been able to accomplish this in a Utah uniform, given everything that happens in college basketball with the transfer portal. And just it's cool to have a player that's stuck it out and produced like he has. So a big shout out to Gabe. It was pretty cool. His family was in attendance, and obviously to do it with his brother, with his twin brother playing alongside him, that has to be pretty darn cool. So pretty impressive stuff for him, and it'll be fun to see him climb that list over the course of the season. The women got a 86-46 win over Weber State yesterday. And I really like the addition of Maya Toure. She's not the dominant talent that Alyssa Peely was, but she can do a lot of the same things that Alyssa Peely can do, and that how much progress she can make. She's been really impressive, and I think she's an ideal fit for this roster and the rest of the squad around her. I think she's a great kind of that last piece, just a great compliment to everybody, where she can work inside. Her and Jenna Johnson can do a little high-low action. They can switch. Jenna go inside. Maya can go outside. She can pass, and she can make entry passes. She can shoot it from the outside. She went 2 of 4 from 3-point range yesterday, and so it'll be interesting to see, as she continues to settle in and gain confidence in the system, gain confidence and chemistry with their teammates. It'll be interesting to see just what sort of leap she can make this season. So she's going to be counted on pretty heavily this year. And, Gianna Neepkins, Kennedy McQueen, they're going to be productive night in, night out. They're going to lead the way for Utah. But Toure can really be an X factor for the women's team this season. And, it was interesting. So the last two games for both the men and women's teams have come on the same day. So we've been able to watch both the women's and men's teams, at the same time, essentially, same day at least. And it's been really cool to see kind of the influence of Coach Lynn Roberts' basketball squad seep its way into the men's basketball with their style of play now, right? With this women's team, what we've watched over the last couple of years is a team that wants to push the tempo, that wants to shoot a lot of threes, that wants to move the ball. They've got a group that really does a good job of moving the ball, passing the ball around the perimeter, moving it inside, getting it inside, setting picks for one another. They have capable ball handlers. All of them can pass. And now we're seeing that with the men's team, where you've got multiple ball handlers, multiple shooters. When Ezra Asar is playing the 5, you've got 5 guys that can all dribble, pass, and shoot, can work inside with Asar, who's been really strong, really impressive in the post. But then he can get outside. He hasn't shot it from the outside yet, but he can handle. He can get to the rim off the dribble. With Jake Wallin, he really kind of settled in yesterday. He had a great game, a couple big blocks, but he scored. He moved the ball. He had a couple assists. Just a productive player, and you're seeing that with Mike Sheriff-Jumps, who's been just fantastic. Has made a number of highlight reel passes. But you see this same sort of style of play with the men's basketball team now, where they're pushing the tempo, getting up and down the floor, but then that ball movement in their half-court sets is really, really impressive. There were a number of possessions, not just a couple, but a number of possessions where they would swing it around the perimeter, get it inside, kick it back out, swing it back, make a cross-court pass. The ball movement with this squad was really something. It was really impressive to watch last night. And then with the number of threes that we've seen, they put up 50 attempts yesterday, made 19, tying the record for makes that they set just a couple days before on Monday. This is a team that has a number of shooters. They're looking to shoot it. You're seeing a Hunter Erickson not hesitate. He's getting it on those catch and shoot threes, and he's letting it fly. Mason Madsen similarly letting it fly. Gabe he's particularly good on those little curls to the corner on those baseline inbound plays. He made 2 of those, and they mirrored each other. They were the same thing. It was the same thing, same make, same shot. It was really, really impressive. And then, so you're seeing a lot of ball movement. You're seeing a high number of assists on their field goal makes, but you just see so much more ball movement than what we've seen over the last couple of years. So, get out, watch these 2 teams play. They both play an entertaining style, and with the schedule being what it is, it's going to be important for Utah to build their confidence and build their chemistry as they get into Big 12 play, because it's going to be tough. It's going to be difficult. But get out, watch these teams play. again, they play an entertaining brand of ball. It's a lot of fun. It's up and down. It's high tempo. They shoot it really well, and this squad with the men's squad, with Sheriff Jumps, with Miro Little and Ezra Sarr and Keanu Dawes, it's really fun to get to know these players, what their games are about. They've got talent, and it's just a lot of fun. So get out, watch these teams, and enjoy it. I think this team has a really legitimate chance of surpassing expectations. And I'm not just saying that as a preseason number 16 in the Big 12. I think a lot of people have said that Utah can be 13-14. I think they can surpass that. I think they can get to 11-10, perhaps even ninth in the conference. And that'll be big. Obviously, a long ways to go, but I think there's plenty to be optimistic about with the squad. Obviously, the Big 12 is going to be just incredibly difficult, but I do just like the makeup of this team and what it and the potential of it. So yeah. All right, with that, let's get to these interviews. Really appreciate, again, K. Scott, Jason, Shelley for taking the time to join me. So let's get to those now. We got another special edition of the Utah Blockcast. Joining me for this one, the man, the myth, the legend, Batman himself, the Dark Knight, K. Scott. What's up, man?
Man, what's going on? Made me smile, man. I appreciate it, man. Everything is well. Excited to watch this game, and actually, I'm gonna be out there. Me and my family. We're leaving tomorrow morning, waking up bright and early at 4 a.m. to get out there, to watch the Utes take down the team down south.
Let's go, man. That's great. Before we dive into football talk and the game itself this weekend, I think one of the great things about college sports and college athletics is, for fans at least, is you get to see these guys move on into the next phase of their careers, and it's cool to watch you guys evolve and grow as people, as human beings, and just to kind of establish yourself professionally and that sort of stuff when you move on from football. And so for you, man, just what's the latest? Where you at in life? I know you've got a lot going on and you're a busy man.
Yeah, man, I've been fortunate. A little bit about what I do is a lot of education consulting, and a little bit about what that is. I work with schools from K through 12. Well, I call it K through 16. So basically elementary, middle, high school, and colleges, universities, community colleges, and just trying to gain insight on a little bit of their priorities, whether it's the Center of Entrepreneurship, business department, social work department, etc., and just trying to figure out how I can add value to those different departments and conduct workshops for their students to get them more engaged, more success, and helping them transition, in and out of life in regards to the transitional stages that they face educationally and life. So that's what I do. Speak many places, facilitate many workshops, and just being a service.
Love that, man. You were doing a lot of stuff like that here in Salt Lake City. You've been very involved in the community and helping a lot of youth. And I think that's so important. So that's awesome. And you're down there, Houston, right?
Yep. Down here in Houston, Texas, man.
Love it, man. Love it. That's great, dude. Well, cool. That's so great to hear, that you've got all that going on. So, man, you're doing great, dude. And doing a lot of really impactful work. I think that's super, super awesome. Dude, let's shift gears. Let's talk football. Obviously, it hasn't been the season that any Ute fan thought it would be, right? We're sitting here 4-4 going into the month of November. The team is currently struggling through a 4-game losing streak. K. Scott, obviously you played receiver here and you found success here. When you're looking at the offense, when you're watching the offense, what are your thoughts as to what's contributing to some of the struggles that they've experienced in the last 4 weeks?
Man, it's tough. And I'll just start off by saying this, when you're a receiver coming into this type of, fold or program, you just have to find your role and own it. Like, of course, we want to have the big statistical premises, like 1,000 yards or, that notoriety. But to be honest with you, our program's not really built like that. You just have to find your role and own it, and just be embedded into the culture of just winning. Like, forget all the
Yeah.
statistical measures, just win. Like, and
Yeah.
as far as the success going right now, I just felt like in the beginning, we felt like, we had things going because we had our guy back, Cam, and
Right.
we built this offense around the team has been built around him. And then you have some challenges, he gets injured and things have to change up a little bit. I felt like for me in my years, we were accustomed to change because we changed different OCs every year. And then also
Yeah.
oftentimes it will be, sometimes, like with Kendall and Travis, we just never knew, it just depends. Right. And so
Right.
we were faced with a lot of uncertainty. Or so our group, we knew how to band together, and that's really what it's about. It's just banding together despite the challenges that we are having at that time, and just being like, hey, no matter what's going on, we're gonna get through it because I know me and you, we got this. And so the challenges is obviously happens because the uncertainty in the different pieces being moved together.
Right.
But I feel like hopefully they can. The biggest thing is them banding together and figuring out, okay, how can we move forward despite this, despite that? How can we still progress and have that continuity? And so to answer your question, I just feel like it just has to start within. Really, Nick Saban has a great quote: "Good teams are led by great coaches, and great teams are led by the players." And I just feel that way as well. And so we just got to figure out how to band together despite all this ruckus going on.
Yeah. I think like that speaks to not a lot of the issues, but that's not just a wide receiver thing. You know what I mean? That's team wide. And I think, I think there's certainly a need for a bit of a reset with that mentality. And I think, Mekhi Bernard has been a tremendous leader, and he's spoken to that, just putting winning above all else. And so
Yep.
I do think that's a big contributing factor as well. And I'm glad that you pointed that out, right? And I think the bye week probably came at a good time for them to get away from it all and that sort of stuff, just to kind of hit the reset. So I think you're spot on there. Let's talk about your experience as a Utah player in this BYU rivalry. Obviously, we know what it's about, right? We know what it is here. And for you, what was it like being in the program and experiencing this rivalry? Because you were from SoCal.
Yeah, coming in, I didn't really understand it, because I'm a big USC, UCLA type rivalry guy. And honestly, I believe this rivalry is bigger than the USC and UCLA. I know people might think I'm crazy, but because this is like family. It's different. It's very different, but it's like indoctrinated into the family. Like, I don't know how to explain it. It's just different. But I remember my freshman year, because I only got to play in the game 2 seasons because the other ones I was injured. It was the 2012 year. And then the 2000, my last year, 2015, I was barely in that game because I was injured. But man, playing in those games, you may think that you're winning. Everything may be aligned, and then out of nowhere, the football gods are like, nah, we're going to make this a classic game. And I feel like that's how everyone has gone. Like, I look back in the 2015 season, we were up 35-7. I was like, oh, we're good.
Peasy. Yeah.
Like, this is cake. This is easy. And then we found ourselves in a dogfight. It's like, what in the world didn't happen? And so I feel like every game is like that. Well, it's going to come down to those type of moments.
Yes.
So despite the records, 4-4, 8-0, it don't matter. You got to play this game as if it's the only one. And so I'm excited about this one.
So looking ahead to Saturday, I know time is short. What do you think is going to be the biggest key for Utah in this game and getting a win over number 9 BYU?
Man, we got to come out swinging fast. Like, I like how we came out against Houston. The first offensive possession, Keithy took it all away. We got to do that, and then still maintain the foot on the gas, because defense. I'm gonna say this. Offensively, BYU, they're good. I ain't gonna lie. I was watching their games. I love he wears number 2. I think it's Epps or
Cody Epps.
I like him, and I like the other guy, number 5. I like him. I ain't gonna lie. I like the receiving group. The offense has this confidence, has a swagger, and they're not scared to throw that thing. So it's like, I believe and I trust our defense to like mesh well with them, but it's just really up to our offense to see like, man, what we can we do. And I feel like if we can come in swinging, get the continuity right, bye week plays a great measure for us. And just to build that confidence, heading into this game, I think if we can come out and just smack them in the mouth offensively, I think defense will obviously do their thing. But I think offensively, if we can come in there and smack them in the mouth early, uh, I think it will set the tone for the remainder of the game.
I think you're spot on there, K. Scott. Man, I hate that our time is so short, but I know
I know.
you're a busy man, so we'll have
Ah,
to try this again another week.
you got me
Give us
hyped,
a little
man.
more time. I know, dude. I
Oh
know
man,
this is what it is.
man, I
This is
got
that
the
week.
man. And I had to make sure I came to this game. I was like, it's my daughter's birthday today. And so she was like, I want to go
Oh,
to
happy
Utah.
birthday.
I said,
Yes.
perfect. Let's go to Utah. And
There
it
you go.
happened
Let's
to be,
go.
she's not going to the game, but I was like, I'm going. So this is good.
Let's go,
The
man. Well,
whole
cool.
family.
I know a lot of fans. The fans are gonna love to see you on the sideline, see you at the game, man. You're
Ooh,
a legend here,
appreciate it.
and appreciate your time, man. Thank you so much.
No problem. Have a good one.
You too, man. Got another special one. Jason Shelley, former Utah quarterback. Pretty significant to bring him on the podcast this week. The last time Utah played the rivalry game, the Holy War, at Rice-Eccles Stadium was actually 2018 when Jason Shelley started and led Utah to a big-time comeback victory. So I'm excited to have Jason joining us. Jason, man, how you doing?
I'm doing good. Thanks for having me.
Appreciate it, man. Well, dude, let's catch up. Obviously, it's been a few years. Your last year was 2019 with Utah, and then you moved on and found a lot of success elsewhere and all that. But before we get to how you finish your collegiate career, just how are you doing? What's the latest with you, man?
I've been doing good. Just started my coaching career. I'm a coach and a teacher at a small East Texas high school, level 3A high school in Mount Vernon, Texas. And we got a little rocky one. It's game day today, but we got a little rain. But I think we can close it out, maybe get a country playoff spot here and there. But that's pretty much going on around my life. Just been kind of doing my own thing, kind of just staying around football, watching football, having fun.
Love it, dude. So what I'm curious because a lot of players get into coaching, and I'm just curious to kind of hear their sort of how they approach it, right? Like how do you describe yourself as a coach right now? Obviously it's only year one, you'll evolve, but just how do you see yourself coaching right now?
I'm kind of the I don't know how you say it, but I'm more of like the I don't know. I bring some energy to practice. Kind of rah, but at the same time, I kind of show love to the players. I bring a lot of passion to the game, like I did kind of in the field. But at the same time, I'm like very like loving and caring on the side. I bring them to the side, have a lot of talks with my players outside of football and things like that. So I kind of see myself as like more of a father figure to these kids in high school.
That's awesome, dude. And as a player, you grew up, you went to Lone Star Frisco, had a lot of success there. So you know the grind there in the state of Texas at high school football there. Sure. So that's great, man. Well, cool, dude. So let's talk about how you finished your collegiate career. You went out to Missouri State, and I don't know if people realize this. Like, I don't know how many Utah fans, stayed on top of you while you were out at Missouri State. Dude, Offensive Player of the Year, 2021, Newcomer of the Year. Just there's a number of awards you won 2021, 2022. Just describe your time there at Missouri State, man.
It was a great time for me. It was after following my time at Utah State was kind of rough, but I went into Missouri State with kind of like this hard head. Like, I just want to kind of just play football, just kind of play the rest of my time out and let the chips fall where they may after that. And I chose to go with Coach Bobby Petrino. And I think we had a similar background that kind of brought us into Missouri State. So I thought that was a great place for both of us to just kind of focus on football and just work on our game. And I just kind of let the talents fall where they may. And then, I just ended up having a great year, brought them to the playoffs. First home playoff game in I think it was 30 years. So, they showed love. Wow. They showed love to me, and I showed love back to the city because they kind of brought me in with open arms.
Man, I'm just looking at some of these numbers. 3,347 yards in 2021. You were averaging what, 260 yards a game, 255 yards a game,
Something like
just
that.
crazy, man. Well, that's
Yeah.
awesome, dude. I'm glad you were able to finish, on such a high note there at Missouri State. That's a program that has actually like caught in the attention of D1 programs because there's good players there. They've had success, and so it's awesome that you were able to go there and help continue to elevate that program because it's been on the rise the last few years.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, a big part of it is Bobby Petrino. I'll give him that credit because he gave me the opportunity to go out there and play, and I just went out there and took it.
That's awesome, dude. Well, cool, man. It's great to hear. And so let's get back to your time at Utah. Obviously, 2017, you committed to the program. And what do you remember the recruiting process? What led you to coming to Utah?
Just kind of like Salt Lake City as a city itself. I thought that was really interesting. It was something new for me being a kid from Dallas, the mountains and all of that. I just enjoyed the energy the city gave me, the love and care that they gave me, and it just brought like a lot of joy. But that was just outside of like football. But when I got into football, it was more like a brotherhood. You could tell like every player like had love for each other. They cared for each other. I still have relationships with a lot of guys on the team that I still talk to. So, it's just kind of that brotherhood that we grew, and that's really the reason why I joined.
I was curious because you came in that 2017 class, and that for me, that was a memorable class for me. That was my first year on the job, and I remember just putting a lot of effort into building those relationships with you guys, TJ Green, Jalen Johnson, Javelin Guidry. You still keep in touch with those guys? Oh.
Are we good? All right, there we go. Yeah, I still talk to TJ Green and Jav Gidget all the time. Of course, my boy JD. That's that's
Oh yeah, Jalen too. Yep.
Yeah. But yeah, a lot of the guys still on the team. We still talk.
Love that, man. Well, cool. So let's talk about your playing career. Obviously, 2017 you joined the program, and then 2018, you're thrust into starting 5 games with Tyler Huntley's injury. What was your mindset as you took on that role, and you led Utah to some big wins, Oregon, obviously, and then we'll talk about the BYU game.
I thought this was my opportunity to show what I could do. So that's kind of the mindset I had going into it. I really got thrown into the fire against Arizona State. That was the first game I played, and that was kind of like a little step in the water, the shallow stones. But after that, I kind of went to the mindset like, this is my opportunity, and I have to just take the most of it.
What do you remember of that Oregon game? Because that was a big one. Obviously, the handcrafted helmets is memorable, but you played really well, and you went up against the quarterback Justin Herbert, who obviously he's gone on to the NFL. But that was a fantastic battle between you and him, the Oregon and Utah. Just what do you remember that game specifically?
I just remember, one scoring my very first touchdown. That was great. But that game was really like a blur to me. Like I didn't understand the magnitude of that game or what happened afterwards until like other people brought it on to me. I just played it as like another game. Like I didn't think nothing of it about Justin Herbert or like Oregon Ducks or like we need to beat this team to stay alive. Like it was really just like I just don't want to mess up. That's kind of the thing that I wanted to do. I just didn't want to fold. And I scored 2 touchdowns. We gave Matt Gay 6 field goals, and then we came away with the W, which is big. I have kids asking me in my school today, like not today, but like when I first came up here, they're like, "Oh, you beat Justin Herbert in a game?" I'm like, "Oh yeah, like I guess I did do that." Like I know this is like one of the games that kind of goes into the back of my mind just now.
That's so cool, dude. Yeah, I think that game obviously is going to be remembered by Utah fans, and that's so cool that students that you're teaching there have brought that up to you. That's so cool. Let's get into that other game, the rivalry game, the Holy War game. What do you remember of the lead up to that game, of the rivalry, the build up, all of it, and then we'll talk more about what happened and transpired in the action.
I got a full understanding of the build up my very first year against BYU. The year I redshirted, like I could just feel the intensity in the atmosphere because we went to Provo that year in 2017. Mm-hmm. So it was just like a big like shock, like, okay, this is what the state cares about. It was kind of like our in Texas we have Oklahoma and Texas, the Red River. Mm-hmm. It's kind of like that vibe. So I got an understanding of that. So that second year, it wasn't really much of like a pressure situation. I'm already into the moment. Like, I just don't like BYU. Like, this is the week, even though it didn't matter for us, like in the Pac-12, it was like, we just can't lose to BYU. And then, just got to go out there and get a W.
All right. I love it because we've been talking to the players. Obviously, this year for Utah, it's such a unique situation because the game has been off. It hasn't been on the schedule the last 3 years. And so there's only 9 players on the team that have played in this game that have experienced it. Right. And so there's a lot of, former players sharing their experiences and kind of teaching them. What do you remember of, when you got here, of the program sort of teaching you about the past, about the history, and just all that comes with the rivalry?
I can say one thing for sure that will probably understand what it is about this rivalry. When I first got to Utah, my high school at Lone Star is blue. So when I got off the plane and I got into an Uber ride that brought me to Utah's campus with my blue Lone Star Rangers hoodie on, he asked me, "Why do you have that on?" And I'm just like, "What do you mean?" He was like, "Yeah, we don't like blue." Like, I just had to question, like, what is it? Like, I'm like, "Oh, it's just my Lone Star hoodie. It's like my high school." So right then and there, I got introduced to like how serious it is just by my Uber driver driving me to the dorm rooms my first year there.
Shout out to the Uber driver.
For sure.
That is amazing. That's a great story, and really, truly is indicative of the rivalry, man. That's so funny. Mm-hmm. All right, dude. Let's get into the game because it was incredible. First 3 quarters, obviously, tough to get going, right? Mm-hmm. But then, we were down. What 27? I think 0 or 27-7. Yep.
Oh, wait, 0. And then Julian got a pick.
Julian got the pick,
yes,
and then Samson scored.
Mm-hmm.
It seemed like you flipped that switch in that fourth quarter. Things just started happening, man. What do you remember of that final quarter and just what transpired that game?
Just like the urge to not like want to put people down, because I didn't play my best game in the first half, and then the second half it was still kind of rocky. I just didn't want to disappoint, especially after Julian got the interception and took it for a touchdown. Like, the energies and the vibe was so high for everybody. I had to just put an ultra focus on to like not want to mess up and like just kill the vibe with energy. And then I guess I had I think it was like 11 or 12 consecutive completions. Mm-hmm. I just had to lock in, just do my thing, and then we ended up coming as a victor as a team.
You had 3 moments in that game: the hurdle, the stiff arm on your touchdown run, and then the celebration with TJ Green in the stands that I think are iconic moments from that game and in this rivalry. Mm-hmm. Which one of those 3 is your favorite? The one that you look back on and just be like, damn, I did that.
Probably, I don't know, like, they all have like a special meaning to me, like special place in my heart. The hurdle, I would say the hurdle, because I was not expecting that myself.
I don't think anybody was.
I to this day, I've never jumped over anybody. I have never. That was the one and only time I've ever done that in my life. So I'm gonna go with the hurdle because that was just a pure natural instinct of how that happened.
It's incredible.
The touchdown. I could have pitched it to Brent Covey, but I didn't want to fumble. Like I said, I didn't want to give the game away, so I just kept it, and then I ended up scoring. And then the whole jumping in the stand, I did that in high school, so it was like I don't know, in the moment. Like and I told TJ before, like after I scored, just when the defense got 4th down stop, right before I took a knee, I said, TJ, I'm running to the stands. I promise. And he just ended up following me. And then boom. A legendary moment. So there's a little fun fact about that moment right there. I told TJ before, and it was kind of planned. It was kind of semi-planned.
Love it, dude. What was that moment like, scoring that touchdown and being in the end zone and the place just erupted? I was on the sideline in that moment. What do you remember of just the crowd, the atmosphere when you got into the end zone on that run?
It I just remember it being so loud that you couldn't hear anything. Like, does that
Dude.
explain something? Like, it was just so loud
Yes.
you couldn't hear, and like you couldn't even hear your thoughts. You couldn't even hear the crowd. It was just that loud. It was just like a silent monotone, just a bunch of yelling and screaming, just a bunch of excitement, and that was just a great time for real, for real.
Man, Jason, just an incredible experience. That game 6 years ago. It's crazy. It was 6 years ago,
Yeah,
and
it
that
was
was
a
the
long
last
time.
time they played. But man, it's good to hear from you, man. It's good to hear that you're doing well and that you've found success and found a path, a career path, and I know Utah fans will be excited to hear from you, man.
All right, thank you. Yeah, I'll be watching. I'll be watching all the time.
Yeah,
Like the press.
what do you think of the game this Saturday?
Um, I wish my boy Cam was playing, but it is what it is. But I don't know. I don't know what to expect, to be honest. I'm just gonna watch as a fan. I mean, I'm always excited to watch the game. Every year they
Yeah.
played. I know it's the first time. Yeah, like you said, since 2018 they played in Rice Echoes. So I'll be excited. I'm always watching. I'll be tapping into the games here and there throughout the season all the time, especially when my guys are playing. Yeah, I stay in touch.
Love it, dude.
Mm-hmm.
Love it, dude. That's great to hear, man.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Jason, again, appreciate your time so much. I know you're busy and you got things to look forward to tonight. So good luck coaching.
Thank
Hopefully
you.
you guys get that win and punch your ticket to the state playoffs, man.
All right, thank you. Appreciate it.
All right, appreciate you, Jason.
No problem.
Talk to you later.
You too.